Welcome to your Essential Business Briefing. It's been another difficult year for businesses as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to present new challenges. But despite rising costs, labour shortages and supply chain problems, a November survey of French bosses found they were feeling more positive than at any point since the year 2000. Today we're talking to two people who are making and selling products in France. I'm joined in studio by Christèle Merter, who's the founder and CEO of the clothing company The Gentle Factory. Thank you very much for being with us. And we've also got Benjamin Kuentz here as well, who makes whisky under his own label, the Maison Benjamin Kuentz. Thank you both for being with us. Christèle, I'd like to start with you. What do you make, first of all, at The Gentle Factory, and how did you get started?
We are a fashion brand. We sell garments for men and women, and we try to produce in a responsible way to reduce the environmental footprint. Is it to say that we produce in France for the local market, for French customer, with organic fibers or with recycled fibers, and also we employ some disabled people to help them to work and to have a job and to give a sense to their life.
Wow, so you've got a very strong philosophy behind your business as well. Benjamin, France isn't necessarily known for its whiskey. What inspired you to start making it here?
Actually, you said it. France inspired me. The way of living, and I'm fan of whiskey, and I try to answer to the question: what if whiskey was invented by the French? What would be the direction? And actually, personally, I am working upside down to create whiskey because my starting point is not distillation, it's writing the recipe, and I try to imagine first the recipe, trying to write all the aromatics I want to create in my whiskey, to answer to the feeling I want to share.
Okay, so it's almost a literary inspiration for your product as well. Let's talk a bit about the pandemic. Benjamin, how did your business fare over the past nearly 2 years now?
2020 was complicated because my clients are restaurants and wine merchants. They were the first to close and the last to reopen. So the 6 months until June, it was very complicated. And then we had to think different and to accelerate, the digital presence. So and to innovate, to create new products and new services. So we make some digital masterclass to explain how to make a whiskey. We accelerate our presence with digital partners or on our own website. And we launched new products such as specific whiskies to communicate and to show what we can do.
Sure. Christèle, what about you? What was the experience for your business? Were you innovating as well during the pandemic?
Quite well. Finally, I think that thanks to the pandemic, the customer would like to consume in a local way and in a responsible way, and that's why we increase our sales. So it was a positive aspect for us, but like you, we also try to reinvent our way of giving sense to our customer. Is that to say that we create La Gentle Academy to help people to have some information regarding the fashion and how we can consume the fashion in a responsible way. Is it better to buy some organic cotton, or is it better for my garment to buy with a conventional cotton fabric? And also we gave to our customer some tutorials to help them to know how you can sew a button or that kind of things to give them a second life.
And practical skills for all of us as well. Supply chain issues are something that's affecting all kinds of businesses around the world now. Given that you are, locally making things, were you affected by supply chain issues as well?
Not at all. We were not affected regarding the raw materials come in France, but we were affected by the inflation.
Yes. Well, that's, of course, one of the other really big challenges facing. So how are you dealing with that?
We try to support in the first part by ourselves regarding the decrease of our margin. But finally, we are not able to support it anymore by ourselves. And that's why we, unfortunately, increase a little bit our prices.
And are you seeing, is that having an effect on demand that you've seen so far?
No. Because I think that our customer really would like to support us. And we explain them why we increase our price and how all the different costs regarding the way of making a garment. And I think they understood.
Transparency is a really interesting factor in that as well. Benjamin, you know, I don't know if supply chain issues are going to be a big issue for whiskey. Have you been affected by shortages?
Yeah. Yes, because, for instance, we have to produce canister, you know, to send bottle. And before we used to have canister in 2 months, and now it's 6 months. Prices are increased as well, and it's the same for bottles, for caps. So we need to buy more to keep the same prices and to anticipate a lot, so to order 6 months before.
Right. And you export as well. Has there been any effect to your exports?
Yes. Yes, I exported. I started to export in the US in 2019, and 2020 stopped everything. But we started to export in Asia in 2020 during the pandemic, actually. So it's, but it's like you know.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster.
Yes, exactly. So it opens and then it closes, and so we are waiting for 2022.
And when it comes to inflation, then you mentioned the cost of your canisters going up, but are there other issues that you're worried about? Energy costs, for example, is that a big issue for you?
Yes, energy costs, because the distillery I am working with are impacted, so they impact as well the cost of production on my bottles. And it's the same for cereals. There's a big increases in cereals. So we try to keep the same prices and as well to work on our margin to make sure that the consumer is not impacted, even if we do our best, I will say.
Okay. As a result, when you look at, you know, we're heading into 2022 now, are you optimistic about what the next year is going to hold? You've had a pretty impressive record of increasing your production during your company's history. Do you think you'll be able to continue that growth in 2022?
The customer really think change their point of view. So I hope that it's going to be not just first point, but it's going to be to keep going on.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Benjamin? Are you feeling, you know, positive about next year?
Yes, I'm positive because you know, when we found our company, we need to be positive and to find new way to work. There is a very good interest on consume better, less but better, and it's the same in spirits and in whiskey for me. So yeah, I'm quite positive.
Are you surprised that there's been these changes in consumer behaviour over the past 2 years? This idea, as Benjamin was just saying, of consuming less but consuming better.
Consuming less but consuming better. In fact, it's the way of thinking of the brand I created. So it was, I think, 3 years ago. It was just at the beginning, and thanks to the pandemic and thanks to the climate change and all the aspects you can see in your life every day regarding the hotness in the summer and so on, I think it's going to grow and to increase.
Do you think as well that means that customers are willing to pay more for products that are made in France and that come with a stronger philosophy?
For our customer, it's sure, because they came in the concept store in which we sell our garments, and they pay more because when we, for example, for my jumper, they are going to buy it 70 euros, and if you go to a retail shop, it's not going to be this kind of price. I'm not sure that everybody is able to pay this price. You have to think that Perhaps it's not necessary to buy 3 or 4 different jumpers in 1 year, and you just have to buy one.
Yeah.
That's our concept.
And that's a change in consumer mentality as well. You're both part of the Made in France family. We know this is something that politicians love to talk about, especially in an election year. Is there anything that you'd like to see discussed that's relevant to the Made in France philosophy in the presidential election? Is there a big issue you'd like to see talk about?
Yeah, keep going to accompany the Made in France. There is very lot of things in France to support the small companies and to support on the local market, but as well to export. So
I'd like to see more discussion of that.
Yes.
Christèle, do you have any wishes for the presidential candidates, things you'd like to see them?
Yeah, perhaps try to favorize the company which try to reduce their carbon footprint, and perhaps with carbon taxes.
Well, let's hope that they're listening to us today. Christèle Merter from La Gentle Factory, thank you very much for being with us, and thank you also to Benjamin Kuentz from Maison Benjamin Kuentz. Thank you to you for watching. You can find this and all of our previous programmes on the France 24 website, and you'll find us on social media if you want to get in touch with any comments or questions. Until next time, thanks for watching.